me, Emily. Welcome to another fun-filled day at Heyhey's house. So, sit tight and let's enjoy this Valentine's Day special episode. Are you ready? Okay, let's go. Once upon a time in the Forest Academy, deep in the heart of Maplewood Forest, where the trees whispered secrets and the river hummed lullabies, there was a prestigious school called Forest Academy. It was a place where young woodland creatures learned everything from survival skills to the art of friendship. Among its students were two very special critters. Sky, a sweet and shy groundhog, and Twigs, an adventurous and kind-hearted rabbit. Sky wasn't just any groundhog. She was the groundhog. Every year, humans from all over gathered around her burrow on February 20, waiting to see if she would predict 6 more weeks of winter. She was famous, but she never let it get to her head. Instead, she spent her days thinking about a certain floppy-eared classmate who made her heart race like the wind through the trees. Twigs, on the other hand, was the fastest rabbit in Forest Academy. He could leap higher than any of his classmates, and he always had a charming twinkle in his eye. He had admired Sky for as long as he could remember, but never found the courage to tell her. Every time he tried, his words got lost in the jumble of his thumping heart. The only other one that knew his secret was Woods, a little white rabbit that was his sister. Woods would be a listening ear to them both and would enjoy their seasons of secret love. That's what she called their little adorable moments. As the seasons changed, Sky and Twigs spent their days glancing at each other in the academy hallways, stealing shy smiles, and Woods was always close to Sky because they were good friends. And Twigs loved his little sister who he trusted with his life and secrets, and would ask Woods about Sky, secretly wondering if the she felt anything about him, as he did about her. But neither of them dared to say anything. Spring brought new blossoms, summer brought warm breezes, autumn painted the forest gold, and winter wrapped it in a quiet hush. And yet, through every season, they only admired each other from afar, and Woods was right there to see it all. Woods, you're so lucky. Then, every February 20, something peculiar happened. The humans would gather at Sky's burrow, waiting for her to emerge. And, like clockwork, the noise would wake up Twigs, who lived in a cozy burrow at the base of a sturdy oak tree just 8 feet away. Rubbing his sleepy eyes, he would step out to see what the commotion was all about. And at that exact moment, Sky would peek out of her burrow, spot Twigs, and immediately scurry back inside. The humans, of course, assumed that she had seen her shadow. 6 more weeks of winter, they would sigh, unaware of the real reason behind Sky's hasty retreat. She wasn't scared of her shadow. She was scared of her feelings. For 2 whole years, this pattern repeated itself. The humans never questioned it. But inside her burrow, Sky would press her tiny paws to her racing heart, scolding herself for running away from the one she cared about the most, a Valentine's Day surprise. The night before Groundhog Day, Sky made a decision. No more running. She had spent too many seasons wondering what could be. This time, when she saw Twigs, she wouldn't retreat. She would stand her ground, face her fears, and finally tell him how she felt. Morning came. The humans gathered again. Cameras clicked. Voices buzzed with excitement. Inside her burrow, Sky took a deep breath. "You can do this!" She peeked out. Just as expected, the noise had woken up Twigs. He emerged from his burrow, blinking at the daylight. Their eyes met, and before she could stop herself, she ran back inside again. The humans cheered. She saw her shadow! 6 more weeks of winter! But this time, something was different. Twigs didn't just go back into his burrow. He made his way over to Sky's. A love-confessed Twigs? His voice was soft, filled with something hopeful. "Are you in there?" Sky's heart pounded like a drum. "Yes? I know you usually don't come out after Groundhog Day," he said, rubbing the back of his ears. "But I have to tell you something. I've been in love with you for a long time," Sky gasped. "You have?" Twigs chuckled nervously. "Yeah." And suddenly Woods popped out of Sky's burrow. "Twigs? You did it! So proud of you!" And every year, I kept hoping maybe you felt the same way? The groundhog took a deep breath. Then, with all the courage she had, she stepped forward into the light. "I do," she whispered. "I always have." Their eyes met, and in that moment, the whole world seemed to pause. They weren't just classmates. They weren't just 2 woodland creatures in the same forest. They were 2 hearts that had always belonged together, like these 2. The final Groundhog Day surprise. The next year, when Groundhog Day arrived, the humans gathered once again. They expected the same routine. Sky would come out, see her shadow, and scurry back inside. But this time, she didn't. Instead, she stepped out of her burrow with confidence, her heart no longer burdened by fear. And standing at the entrance of his burrow just 8 feet away, smiling warmly, was Twigs. To the humans, it seemed like she hadn't seen her shadow. What they didn't see was the real reason she stayed outside, because this time, she wasn't looking at the ground. She was looking at love. Sky and Twigs spent their life together until Twigs has to travel with his parents, and the humans till this day do not know why they sometimes have an extra 6 weeks and sometimes don't. The end